All right, you guys, finally sitting down and making a YouTube video on the summer updates for Airbnb 2024. Now, as an Airbnb ambassador, I get the beta version of Airbnb. I get to play around with the software, really see all the new stuff that is coming, give some feedback to Airbnb. So I've been playing with this stuff for a couple weeks now. There's not a huge update. It's more of like a design update more than anything, but let me go ahead and jump into it because there's a lot of stuff that I really like. And since I look at the platform all the time, I'm a big visual person like Brian is, and he did a bunch of updates when it comes to graphics and icons and artists and stuff like that. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the guest perspective of things and guest booking options and whatnot. You heard me say before a bunch of times that design is so important. Having a creative theme in your house could be really important. An awesome experience for your guests. That's more prevalent now than ever, really. Now you can really see on Airbnb how important those listings are getting pushed, and they have a new thing on Airbnb called icons. In short, I feel like icons are kind of like what Airbnb's partnership is with like a brand deal or whatnot. So they're gonna be working with like the biggest names in Hollywood, music, artists, musicians, comedians, maybe Disney, all kinds of crazy stuff that they're gonna do a combined effort to make a over-the-top experience for the guest. In this update, Airbnb did about 11 different icons that they're really pushing. There's a little icon button on the homepage you can see, but a couple of the ones that really stood out to me that are really cool, they're all really cool, but some of the ones that I like, the drift up house, it's like a bunch of balloons, like guess you stay in the house and it floats. I don't know, the whole thing looks super cool. Are you a giant Ferrari fan? You can spend a night in the Ferrari museum themed house. Now, when it comes to musicians, who doesn't like the Purple Rain? Purple Rain, that's gonna be a cool looking house. It is a cool looking house. X-Men 97 themed, like it's so freaking cool. I think Kevin Hart is doing a themed one, so definitely go check that out because it can get you really inspired on what you can do to your places. And to me, it just goes to show that Airbnb is really pushing these like over the top themed listings. They're gonna get you a ton more bookings. Obviously it has to be done right and tasteful. And with Airbnb, they're definitely getting copyrights to be able to do this. Now, one of the features in the 2024 update is guest group trips. We all know that a lot of guests book on Airbnb. I think Airbnb even said about 80% of their bookings are with groups. And Airbnb is not really built right now for group bookings or group friend communication on Airbnb. So if I get a group book trip, let's say there's 8 guests, all of the guests that are on Airbnb will be on that listing. So I can see all their faces, I can see who's coming. That part is really cool. All the guests can now see my guidebook, house rules, check-in messaging, all that stuff. Guess what makes me kind of concerned is that many more people to talk to. Does that mean not just the primary guest is going to be reaching out to you with questions, but I'm assuming that means all the guests are going to reach out for questions or concerns. So that's a little alarming, but I like it because now the guests can see everything. So maybe it's less communication. I'm leaning towards the fact it's going to be more communication. So a little worried about that. So with that, with the group trips, Airbnb listened to host and guests and made a cool update. This part is going to be shared wish list. Let's say I'm traveling and I have a group of 4 friends that want to go. Well, I love looking at a bunch of different listings and saving them, wish list, heart them, whatever. Before, I could never really share anybody. I'd have to send them the link via text message or email and then get response back and forth. Now you can do that all in the Airbnb app, which is really cool. So you can have reactions. Let's say I send 4 or 5 different listings to the group that we're traveling with. They can hit a little heart that they like it, maybe a thumbs down, they don't like that one. That way we can all feel like we're a part of the booking process. And I like this. And one thing I thought of is if there's a group, a lot of times there's some people that have never been on Airbnb. So maybe now they'll join Airbnb as a traveler. They'll be open to it at this experience. More eyeballs on your listing, potentially a lot more travelers on Airbnb. So there's a lot here that I like. Now, since there's gonna be more messaging and they cleaned up booking process, so Airbnb did do a massive update when it comes to the messaging tab. Myself, I'm a co-host on Airbnb, I'm a manager on Airbnb, I'm an ambassador on Airbnb. I host webinars, experience on Airbnb, so my message feed gets absolutely insane. I gotta constantly switch back from host to traveler and customer service. It just gets very, very messy really quick. But now all the messaging is gonna be under one messaging tab. That part's really nice. I can get it really organized. I can search only my ambassador leads or only customer service. That part's nice. They did a big update. It's a little hard for me to read which messages are unread and not read yet, so that's a little concerning, but they have really nice photos of the guest face and my listing, so I'm a visual person. That's easy for me to see which messages I'm working on. And I actually tried this feature the other day, the AI messaging suggestions. Pretty cool. We all know about AI. We've all been talking about AI, but Airbnb, I had a guest reach out, ask me about the Wi-Fi. Maybe they didn't see it or whatever. Boom, it popped up. AI message from Airbnb, exactly about the Wi-Fi, password, speed, all that stuff that I put in. All I had to do is hit approve and it just sent that message right away. So that's really cool, super cool. I wonder if it's gonna sync into my property management software. I doubt it, but that would be awesome if it synced with like Hostfully and Guesty and Hospitable. I don't know, good question, not sure. Yeah, and I'm just curious if anybody else has this problem too, but like in Malibu, we have to collect all the tax, remit them to the city. So I gotta get tax from my guests and pay the city and state myself. And I can't find for the life of me on the new Airbnb update where I enter my tax info now. Even on the listings like here in Arizona where they collect all the tax and remit that to the state, I don't see anywhere where I can change that or see what the percentage is that Airbnb is taking. I don't know if it's just hidden somewhere, I can't find it, but it seems a little odd that I have no idea where the tax part is. So if you know, please comment because that's super confusing. Now they've been talking about this AI photo tour and updating the photo layout for quite some time now. And they did, it's on this new feature. And at first glance, I am super confused, to be honest. I got a call from another manager, host that I have a ton of respect for. He was like, do you know how to use this? And I don't really understand it. It's called Photo Tour, but it looks like it's forcing you to use a tour. And if you want to set up your own layout, like let's say you want your pool photo first and then kitchen next or something like that, you can, but it's very tricky. You got to click into it. You got to click on the photos and edit, but it kind of just forces you to use the AI, arrange the photos in a direction based on the rooms and whatnot. In theory, it sounds cool. Maybe the AI is way smarter than we are and they know what guests are searching for. So my thought is trying to understand Airbnb is maybe the AI is picking up keywords. So let's say they're looking for lakefront property. Well, maybe the AI will switch the photo to be the #1 photo of your house on the lakefront because that's what guest is looking for. If that's the case, that's freaking cool as heck. And I've been told it's trying to do that, but I haven't physically seen that part yet. But that would be mind-blowing. But I do like to rearrange my photos, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Full AI photo tour and see if my booking spike, my impression spike. Airbnb is the one with all the insights. So if they're gonna update this feature, it probably means something, that it works or they're smarter than we are. And I don't wanna make this video too long. I'm gonna show you guys a bunch of samples and whatnot, but if I make it too long, you guys will be bored. But I did talk about guest favorites a little bit and it kind of came out in the last release, but now it's getting actually rolled out to listings. I've been seeing it on a bunch of my listings, a bunch of friends' listings. I love it. This is like one of the better parts for a host and a guest that I've seen on this update. So what do I mean by that? They have a guest favorites, which we've all seen before, but now they broke it down in categories. They have 1%, 5%, and 10%, which means your places, if you're in the top 10%, you're probably gonna get a ton more bookings, 5%, 10 more bookings. That means guests really like your place, you're meeting all the standards, great host, good design, good location. A couple people that I've been helping have all gotten guest favorites. You get a gold trophy leaf thing around your listing. It's presented nice and clean up at the top and then says the percentage right there at the bottom, which is really cool because if you're new to Airbnb and you're looking for a place and you're concerned, those things are gonna help you with your concerns quite a bit. And to be honest, I've had this feature on a few of my listings and we have seen a huge spike in impressions and conversions into bookings. A lot. Like I've gotten so many bookings in the last couple of days. I had a friend reach out to me and it's like, oh my God, I've gotten a handful of bookings in the slow season. So I think guest favorites is really awesome. And I think it's gonna get you better guests, better bookings. So we'll see. We'll do a better update on that as it rolls out more and more. With Airbnb trying to clean up their platform, because a lot of the negativity to get is I checked into an Airbnb, it's nothing like the listing, just had a guest do that and they ended up booking with me because they checked in, the place was awful, they checked into my place. So that happens a lot. So now what Airbnb is, they're gonna highlight the bottom 10%. So if you're a host in the bottom 10%, you are gonna be in a lot of trouble. You're probably not gonna get many bookings. You're gonna be so pushed far down the algorithm and whatnot. I love it. Any way they can do to clean up the platform is amazing. The parts that scare me about this is we all know how difficult guests can be. I mean, I've gotten bad reviews sometimes that were just totally not warranted. Yes, I was able to delete some of them, but it's very difficult. Sometimes guests just wanna be rude and give you a really bad review. They don't realize how painful it is. So with all these updates, you guys, you cannot just relaunch a listing anymore, which is awesome. You cannot make duplicate listings on the same address, which is pointless anyways. And you cannot get like a couple bad star reviews and just rebuild your listing and relaunch it. They're gonna flag you. You're probably gonna get that address suspended. You have to go through the process. So that part I really like. I just don't know enough on how they're flagging and penalizing these accounts and locking the address. But I do know this is happening quite a bit. I know a lot of people in the space that got their listings completely blocked and they're having a lot of trouble getting it relaunched. But that's okay. If you're a poor host, you should be blocked or kicked off the platform, right? So it just kind of levels everybody up and hopefully makes the platform better guests, all that stuff. But that part kind of scares me. Anyways, much love.